I would like to run this program again by pressing Ctrl F5. And we see only the silhouette of a car, painted with just one single color, which is quite frankly not very impressive. Here the console window has some statistics, how many vertices and how many normals are loaded. So let's open the code and take a look at the Fragment Shader. So this is our shader subfolder, and this is the Fragment Shader. So let's bring these two side-by-side view like this. And in Fragment Shader, this is where this ugly color is assigned to the color output, which goes into the color buffer. So every pixel becomes this gray color. But recall in our presentation, we mentioned that a vertex shader output variables becoming Fragment Shader input. We can take advantage of this and try a small trick to maybe try generating some colors from the information available in the vertex shader. For example, we might try using the normal vector data as colors and see what happens. So I'm going to declare an output variable from the vertex shader, and I'm going to call it pass color. And I'm going to declare it also an input variable in our Fragment Shader and also name it the same way. So the graphics card shader compiler program will realize that this is the output that's supposed to be passed to the Fragment Shader from the vertex shader, and the colors will be nicely interpolated, which means that they will be transitioning smoothly from one vertex position to another vertex position. Okay, so then the plan is to attempt to use the normal vector data as color. So here I'll just uncomment this line, but the only thing that I'd like to change here is just to keep this a different name. Okay, so this will be the pass color generated from the normal vector data. Okay, so it's just an experiment. Let's see what happens. So instead of this line in our Fragment Shader, we're going to add something like this, right? So that we're now using the interpolated color generated inside the vertex shader program. Now I'm going to save all these files, just save all. And I really don't have to recompile the program because they're loaded from these text files and compiled into shader programs at runtime. So let's restart, Control F5. So the gray color is gone. Now we have sort of like a radioactive glow. And notice, because normal vectors are pointing in opposite directions, one side is blue, the back is green, another side is green, and the front is red. So we have this glowing effect, and we could try to make it a bit brighter by adding a little bit more power or more intensity to the color components, perhaps like this. I just increase each color component by a certain amount. So let's see how this looks like. Save it, run again. You can see it has come out as a little bit brighter display. Alright, not bad. We can even try to animate the color palette a little bit more by introducing some sort of variable. Like for instance, we can take one of the changing components in our modeling matrix, like its first x value in the first column of the matrix, and compute the sign of this value. Alright, so just save it and run again. So you see how the shade of the color changes right away as we run the program, and We can experiment even more by changing the sign to a tangent. For instance, try this. Okay, so there's more effects taking place as we keep rotating. And this is what we have so far.